I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just going to tell you the secret right away. The secret is to just make more money. Well, how do I make more money? That if I knew how to make more money, I would just make more money immediately, right? That just makes sense. But I'm going to teach you how. The how is investing and owning assets. And most people, when they hear the word asset, they think of real estate. No. I know what your situation is. I know that you just can't go out and buy a house. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's be on the same page here. We're talking about stocks right now. Stocks are much more affordable. Because why? Why is because you only need $1 to start. You don't need to be Mr. Big Money Bags to start investing in stocks. You just need $1 to get started. Investing has become more accessible over time. You no longer need to be Mr. Big Money Bags with $500 in your pocket to be able to invest anymore. To just buy one stock, all you need is a few dollars. You can buy fractional shares now. You don't need to buy the whole share anymore. Investing has become more accessible than ever. Reason why you should be investing is because over time you'll have built enough of your portfolio where now you can walk into work and you make an extra $4 an hour above everybody else. I did this while working minimum wage jobs. You walk in and you're being paid $12 an hour by the job, but you're actually being paid $16 an hour if you were to divide all the money that you're making into an 8-hour day. It gave me this strange euphoric high every time I went into work. It was no longer, I'm only making $12 an hour. It's, I wonder how much extra money I can make at the end of the month. I wonder if I can get an extra dollar raise. No longer was I reliant on keeping up a mask, a fake appearance for other people, for my boss, so that they could decide whether or not I deserved a raise. No, I already deserve a raise. You know why? Because I'm going to give myself a raise. I'm going to be completely transparent and honest with you. This is an extremely lonely route to take, because anytime you hear somebody and they tell you their story, they're going to tell you how little money that they have, how they're unable to pay for certain things. And by certain things, I mean survival. The amount of stories that I would hear from other people, because I wasn't working like the good jobs. I was just working like, the very time lenient jobs, the high turnover jobs. You know what I'm talking about? Would you like fries with that? Those types of jobs. I was working those. And when you work those types of jobs, you're surrounded by an enormous amount of people who are unable to pay for their survival necessities. You see it all the time. And once you know the secret of how to make more money, you want to tell them how to make more money. You want to tell them how to give themselves a raise, but you can't. Because once you tell them, you're no longer friends anymore. Once you tell them the secret, they take it as a class issue. All of a sudden, you're no longer the trusted person that they can come to when they want to vent about their lives. Because you're not the same. They know you're not the same. They know that you don't need to go to work as often as they do. What you're doing is a play. What I was doing was a play. They were working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for survival, and I was doing that as a play. I was pretending. I was pretending to be stuck in the survival mode, when in reality I was just building wealth for myself. They don't like that. They don't like knowing that the person that they're working with, that the person that is working just around the same hours as them, is getting a better outcome than they are. If you want to piss off a wagey, if you want to piss off a broke person, all they need to know is that you work less hours than them and you make more money than them. And you make more money than them because materialism doesn't matter to you. It's not an escape for you. You see past that illusion. You're no longer trapped by the rat race because you don't have a car payment anymore. You don't have that debt. You drive a piece of shit car that you're going to drive into the ground. Other people made fun of me for my car because my car is like 10 years. How old is my car? My car is 18 years old at this point. Driving an 18-year-old rusted car. People don't like that. And then they find out that you're doing better than them. They're like, oh, they will legit pinpoint any little tiny thing about your life. Broke people will legit make fun of you for like any little tiny thing once they find out that you're doing better than them by not needing to work as much as they do. You're getting a better outcome than they are. And I would constantly get people that knew my situation, knew that I was making more money than they were, not because I was better at the job, but because I gave myself a raise. They didn't want to ask me for help. How did I do it? They just wanted to bully and make fun of. 'Cause they're crabs. They want to pull you down. If you're not a crab, congratulations, you get the advice today. And it's not like I was being rude at work and just bragging. Like, they found out through normal conversations, oh, what are you focused on right now? Oh, I'm focused on working as much as I can so I can build my stock portfolio so I don't need to work as much. They get so mad. Furious. They're furious once they find out that answer. So if you're going to start making more money, don't tell them. If you're going to start giving yourself a raise, you gotta be extremely careful with who you tell. It depended on the manager. Like, if the manager asked me what I was doing in life and I told them honestly, it depended on which manager, what kind of personality they had. I had some managers that were like, cool, I'll give you a lot more hours if you need to, but understand that I'm going to give the hours to somebody who actually needs it first. And it's like, cool. Some people understand the hustle, other people don't. Some people, when they find out the hustle, they give you the worst part of the job. They're like, oh, well, Toto is being paid an extra $4 an hour because of their stocks. Let's make them do the worst part of the job. It's this mindset of you're being paid more, so you should be able to do the worst jobs. What is that thing that socialists are constantly talking about? They're like universal pay. Stocks are like that. They're just a form of universal pay. They're the original universal pay. Except what's cool about it is that you get to pick how much you get paid based on the work that you did, based on the amount of money that you put in. I would get mixed reactions all the time. Like, they would find out what I was working so hard for, and then they would be like, well, what if you lose it all? And it's like, that's why you diversify. What? I'm not just buying one thing. I'm not buying only risky stocks. I'm also buying the evergreen ones. I'm buying stuff that I believe that's going to flourish in the future. Excuse me. Buying stuff that I believe that is going to actually help, like green energy. That's the whole point of diversifying. So that if one sector falls and crashes, you still have everything else. They don't understand. It didn't matter how I communicated to them what I was doing. They didn't understand, and it just instantly went to rage every single time. Not every single time. Just went to rage. Like, majority of people just go to rage. You know what's an amazing feeling? Is driving to work and knowing that you would only need to work half of what you do now if you wanted to, because your stocks pay your bills. Once you reach that, you become a turd, because you're no longer trapped. Because you're driving in your car and you're thinking of all the useless, inefficient methods that your boss puts in place because it's their way or the highway. And you're thinking about it, and you get to a point where you realize you only need to work about half of the hours that you do now, and you'll have more time to actually fix the problems in the world that you care about. The system sucks because people don't have the freedom to just choose what they want to do, because they're trapped by the low wages. If you're trapped by a low wage, give yourself a raise. It's going to be slow. I'm telling you right now, like, based on the drive you have, it's going to take you about 6 months to 5 years, based on all kinds of different things, like based on like your survival right now. You want to lower your burn rate as much as possible. This means getting rid of all your debt. This means moving into a smaller place. This means figuring out ways to save money so that you can use that money to buy more investments and give yourself a raise. Your boss is not going to give you a raise. Give yourself a raise. We are living in a world right now where hard work is not rewarded unless you give it to yourself. Other people are not going to recognize your hard work, so you have to give yourself the reward. Play with the tools you have. Lower your expenses. Work more hours if possible, and invest as much as possible. Depending on how driven you are, it'll take you less than 5 years. It'll take you less than 5 years to become financially free. And with that, remember, the more people who are free, the better the world will be. Okay, bye.